see him to handle this, being able to grind through 4 innings of work, especially with dealing with whatever he had with his finger, the dead skin?
I think with Tony today, it was a grind from the outset. The walks, the behind the count. I don't think he had command of a split. And it was a grind today. And so, with the first inning pitch count, we were fortunate enough to get him through 4. But still, with what we went through this series with the starters, there's a lot of innings our pen had to cover. And that's unfortunate. And still had a chance to win the games today, though.
There was a point where you were talking to Landon Neck, and then he went to the bullpen. Was that just one of those instances in which if Tony was going to have to come out of the game early to be able to protect the bullpen?
Yeah, that's something that he's starting tomorrow, and just kind of where we're at in the first inning, depending on how far Tony went, there might have been a scenario where Landon was going to pitch for us and try to pick up the pieces to figure out tomorrow. Fortunately, we did get to that point, so Landon will be ready to go for his start tomorrow, but that was a conversation.
You've obviously been hitting on it a lot over the last few weeks, but how sustainable is it to sort of keep relying on your bullpen, especially when it's going to happen?
Yeah, it's not sustainable. I think that I personally just look at each night and try to figure out who's available and how to try to win the game, cover the game, protect players, and that's kind of sort of the math, and you put these pieces together and try to weigh them in my decision making. But yeah, I think that our starters will gain some traction and start going deeper because we certainly need it at the pen, yeah.
How frustrating or just kind of difficult is it to deal with when, it does seem pitching things, even with the one finger, kind of keep popping up for you guys?
Yeah, it's sort of, I don't think it is what it is, I guess, and you sort of kind of deal with it. But yeah, Tony came in today feeling good, and then there was a thing on his finger that kind of surfaced when he was getting loose, and that kind of impeded his command. And so hopefully, when he starts on Saturday, that will be taken care of and give us a full start. But you just sort of have to deal with things as they come up.
What do you think the difference has been in execution for Bonda this year as opposed to maybe last year, especially off the runs?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I think that there's a lot of sinkers that are not sinking. They're not commanded. He's getting into some bad counts. There's times where he's not, landing his slider. And so I think it's just a compilation of things that, ultimately the sinker's got to have some movement, and there's real velocity there, but, guys can hit velocity now. So I think with Anthony, it was, great for him to give us 2 innings, which were much needed. But there's a 3-1 heater that just kind of was a misfire, and, Darnell did a good swing on it.
How does losing Kirby to the IL affect how you approach leverage situations when you want a right-hander?
That's going to be interesting. Ben's kind of been a guy that pitches 2-3 innings, and so there's certain games that he's offline. We got Trevino here. He's through 2 innings today. He was a guy that really handles right well throughout his career, but he's going to be down for a couple days, giving us 2 innings, and we're just going to have to piece it together. It's a good question, though.
Was Garcia okay when you checked on him?
Yeah, I really couldn't gather what was going on with Luis. He really didn't divulge. So, obviously with what he's done 3 in a row, he'll be down for a couple days, and we'll just kind of figure it out, pick up the pieces tomorrow and expect to just start out of Landon and figure out how we can match these guys up.
Dave, you lose the guys like Barnes and Taylor in a short amount of time, well-liked guys. Can that cause an emotional kind of thing for the guys to kind of overcome maybe subconsciously?
I don't know. Obviously those 2 guys were very good Dodgers, very well-liked. But I think, to be honest, we just didn't pitch well this series. And I just don't know how much that, is a result of, moving on from 2 really good players.
Do you have any update on Michael Kopitzer yet?
He is through a pen, I think, today, and I think he's supposed to be pitching in a game on Tuesday. But he came out of it fine.
with those moves with Taylor and Barnes, like how much do they just kind of signify the urgency you guys are kind of approaching the season right now, especially in a tight race?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think that, we talked about Dalton, and I think that Dalton's earned the opportunity to get some runway, and he's, showing well right now and learning, which is great. And then, also obviously, even with Haysong doing what he's doing, I think this is a good opportunity for him. And so, yeah, obviously we're in a tight race, and I think there's some of it is the race, some of it is you still want to kind of continue to develop young players and give them opportunities, with a veteran ball club.
Is Teo still on track to be activated?
Yes.
When Tommy and Kikuchi had that collision, was there a second where you kind of...
I held my breath. I did hold my breath, and I hope you say it's okay. But yeah, I definitely held my breath, making sure Tommy came out of it okay. And the word that I got was he's fine. Thanks, guys.
First, can you just explain what was happening early in the game that was leading, whether it was your thumb, kind of what was leading to the bleeding?
Yeah, I just had some dead skin after the bullpen and tried to pick it off and took some good skin with it, just wouldn't stop bleeding.
Do you find that you were trying to then find different ways to overcompensate just with that? Because it did seem there, of course, were times that might have been causing to the lack of command in this one today.
Potentially, but I don't make excuses for myself like that. I still need to execute pitches, and I wasn't doing that today.
And how important was it for you then to grind through it, though, just to be able to get through 4 and put this team in at least a decent spot going to the bullpen?
Yeah, I wasn't going to let something like that pull me out of the game, especially after the first batter. So fortunate enough to get through 4 today. A lot of grinding, a lot of balls, just a lot of poor execution. Boys did a good job battling back. We just couldn't out.
Did they do anything to your hand, either on the mound when they went out there, or between innings after the first?
Yeah, they put some, it's called Dermabond. It's just like an expensive Band-Aid, essentially. But it kept the bleeding to a minimum. Or actually, erased it altogether.
How much harder does it just kind of make it, like, execute pitches and that kind of stuff?
It's basically just like having skin there, honestly. So it didn't. Again, I don't make excuses for it. I just couldn't execute pitches, and I'm not going to blame my thumb or whatever. It just didn't pitch good today.
Is it something you were dealing with coming into today, or did it just kind of pop up when you started throwing there those first couple pitches?
Hadn't dealt with it at all, actually. I pulled some dead skin off of my finger, and it took some good skin with it, and that's what was causing the bleeding.
The team has made lately, regarding his loss and Grace. What kind of message does that send to the team?
Wasn't expecting that personally, but I think we're just trying to win games and give these young guys a shot.
That just wasn't there, but how much do you think just kind of the butt and the finger kind of led to the lack of command for him today?
Yeah, just a slow start for him. First inning, they jumped on him. It wasn't really commanding the ball, left 2 heaters up. They got it to us early, so yeah.
Would you say you guys are kind of starting to feel just the grind of these injuries and the things kind of just building up on each other right now?
Yeah, obviously, guys are getting hurt and stuff. That's part of a long year. We're on a 20 or 21 day stretch right now, so yeah, maybe a little bit tired, a little bit of fatigue, but it's impressive still seeing these guys go out and compete every night. Everyone's still giving it their best, and that's what matters.
Where did you want that pitch from Fonda?
Just like down away. He pulled it up and in. Just a poorly executed pitch, and Darno, capitalized on it.
Flip side offensively, just kind of how are you feeling to be able to get that swing to at least put you all back in this game?
I feel really good to play, see the ball well. The work I put in the offseason is paying off, some changes and stuff. So, just trying to keep it going.
The type of change, just more mechanical, just getting backwards from the bad habits that you have.
Exactly.